Greetings. Earlier this semester, you received an email from prodev@pasadena.edu with the subject title, Process for Reporting Your Flex Activities. In that email is a link to an online form where you will report your Flex Day activities for the academic year, ending on June 30th. Once you click on the link and arrive at the online form, the first thing you will notice is that after a place for your name, email address, and division, the form is laid out in 4 subsections: professional learning goal, PD day activities, other in lieu activities, and facilitation activities. At the bottom of the form is a gray box that will display the grand total number of hours completed from all the activities you enter into the form. Now let's return to the top of the form and enter in your name, email address, and department. You will notice there is a drop-down box for a department. Guidelines from the Chancellor's Office require participants of a flexible calendar program to articulate a learning goal. There should be a connection between the goal you include and the activities you enter into this form. We have provided an example goal to help you. The next subsection of the form asks you to select the parts of our 2-day PD days that you participated in. You will notice that the gray subtotal box displays the total number of hours from the PD day activities that you selected. The third subsection in the form is where you can enter the other in lieu flex activities you completed this year, which ends on June 30th. It is important to remember that you only need to report a total of 14 hours of Flex Day activities on this online form. So if you attended 7 hours of PD Day activities, you only need to report an additional 7 hours of Flex Day activity on this form. So let's assume I attended a Saturday workshop on ensemble techniques for the classroom, and I want to include that activity here. I would enter the name of the activity and then the date of the activity. From there, I would indicate the name of the organization that sponsored the workshop. Next, you need to use the drop-down box to identify the Title V category with which the activity is most connected. If you are unsure about what types of activities are included in each of these categories, you can scroll back up to the instructions for this subsection and click on this link, which will take you to PCC's Flexible Calendar Program Guidelines. Once inside the guidelines, scroll down to the table on pages 2 and 3, where you will find a description of each Title V category. In reviewing these categories, it seems that the ensemble workshop best fits with conferences and workshops in institutional research. Once you have selected the correct Title V category, use the Activity Hours drop-down box to identify the number of hours completed in this activity. In this case of the ensemble workshop, this would be 3 hours. If you have additional other in lieu flex activities to add, you can do so by clicking on the black box here that says Add Another Activity. When you do that, an identical set of blank fields will appear. You can fill in these fields in the same way that you did the previous activity. It is important to note that you can add as many activities in this section of the form as you need. Go to the subtotal of pre-approved Flex in lieu activity hours. Add the subtotal of your activity hours and enter them in the field. The last subsection, Facilitation of Flex Activities, is where you can report the PCC events you have facilitated. Remember, you can only report facilitation activities if the event was for PCC employees. In the first field, enter the name of the event you facilitated. If you facilitated more than one, you can enter the names of all the events in this field. In the second field, include each of the corresponding dates for those events. In the hours field, you enter the total number of hours of those events. You will notice that the form automatically multiplies the number of hours you facilitated by 2, because individuals are awarded double hours for facilitation activities. At this point, you want to confirm that the grand total of flex hours in the bottom gray box is equal to or greater than 14. If it is, then you simply need to read and check the acknowledgement statement and then press the Submit button. If you have less than 14 hours, you can return to an earlier subsection of the form and add additional activities. After you press the Submit button, you should receive an email that contains all of your responses you provided in the online form. We suggest that you keep that email for your records. Thank you for your participation.